Hey, what's up guys? Basically, I'm just bringing you a video on how to set up a new computer from scratch. I recently went out and bought quite a lot of parts. It's been on my to-do list for a while now. They finally all arrived. I'm here in Perth, Western Australia, so I had some shipped over from Melbourne. But they've all arrived, and I'll be bringing basically a step-by-step instructional guide on how to just put all the parts in all together and set it up. Now this build is a little bit more advanced than your usual computer. We've gone ahead, we actually have a water cooling unit, a complete separate radiator, reservoir and pump. So it's a bit more advanced than your typical stock fan on your CPU. But don't worry, we'll give instructional steps all the way through the build. You can see in front of me, I've got the Corsair Graphite 600T case. It's really nice and sleek. Comes in white and black. On the roof of the case, it's got room to fit a 240mm radiator. That's what I'll be using for the cooling system. You can see right in front of you, got the acrylic pane right there. It's got some plastic on it now, but I will be removing that. I'll give you some nice glamour shots once all the CPU's put together, just to give you what the final look is. Over to our left here, I've just got the power supply, hard drive. You probably see some distilled water as well. That's just for flushing out the cooling system. But yeah, there'll be in other videos throughout, so just stay tuned. First of all, I'm going to bring you plugging in the motherboard. It's pretty much the base of any computer. I went with the ASrock Z68 Extreme 4 Gen 3. If that does mean anything to you, you know that it's really solid motherboard, good price range, and supports all the overclocking that you need to do on a system. But I'll be showing you that video first, so I'll lay the PC down. See you in a second when I've got the motherboard all ready to install. Hey guys, just back here again. Basically I've got the motherboard out of the casing here, and I'm just holding it in front of you so you can have a look at the features. It's actually quite a nice motherboard, nice and shiny. You can see the V8 here, I think that's the sound card, or maybe the network card. It's got your SATA 6 gigabit per second and 3 gigabit per second, and just your all other standard things. You can see the heat sinks right there, the heat sinks right there are quite large. That's really good for extracting the heat away from your CPU. So what I'm going to do is just show you how to install it. Basically you'll notice the I/O board here. You basically line that up with the back of your case. So with this case it's going to go in like this way. I mean, it's quite easy, just spend 1 or 2 minutes having a look at your case. So I'll just go down and rest it. Be very careful not to touch the circuitry on the back of the board. That can actually damage it. Alright, what you'll see, I've put it down quite stably. Sorry about the quality, you might not be able to see too much of the specifics, but basically there's pins in the corner of the board that poke up from the case. Now that keeps it just above, actually directly contacting the back, bit of airflow, and also they're the screws that you put in. You'll notice that now the I/O board lines up. We can go ahead and grab this piece of equipment. It just plugs in on the inside of your case, and all the USB connectors, like your DVI, HD connectors, things like that, clip through, and that's when you know that the case is in the right position. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is basically apply this and also screw in the boards, and then I can give you a close-up of where I actually went ahead and screwed it in. Hey guys, back again. We basically mounted the motherboard. Just a quick helpful tip, it's always good to have a bowl that you put all your screws in. There's nothing worse than having screws rolling around on your table and you losing them. I've also got a nice toolkit here. You want really small, usually Phillips heads will do. But what I'm going to do now is just point out the ones you want to screw in. Now it's really up to your preference how many you want. Yeah, you can go ahead and bolt all the ones in that you can see, but I mean, 8 should be enough, just around the edge of the board. It's not going to rattle around it much anyway. So I've gone ahead and I've actually applied one here, screwed it in. What you want to do is lightly screw them in first, get all of the ones you want in, and then tighten them up as you go. It's not like your IKEA table set where you just kind of crank it as much as you can and on to the next one. So here's the first one. You've got one here, one there, one there, one there, one at the back, one here, and you've actually got one in the one here, right there. Now you'll notice them they have a little like silver semicircle around both the edges. That's basically to prevent any circuitry trying to send like electricity through the circuitry. So even though the bolts, like they're pretty smart about how they wire this up, but yeah, as you can see, they're just labelled with a little silver semicircle on each end. You can go ahead. Basically, the motherboard comes with all the screws you need. This is just a thumb screw from earlier, but yeah, it comes with all the screws you need. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them up now, secure the board in there, and we can proceed with adding the hard drives and whatnot. Hey guys, back here with the hard drives. You can see that I got two types here. We've got a solid state SSD, sorry, wrong way around, and the standard HDD hard disk drive. What you want to do, these are basically the standard for today's technology. They're really quick, I think up to 5 or 10 times quicker than these ones, but they only come a lot smaller. So this is about 60 gigs, and this is up to 500. I mean, I'm sure you're aware they go up to a terabyte. You know, 3 terabytes is a new one by Western Digital. So what I'm going to show you is basically getting them in the mounting bracket so we can put them in the case. It's really simple, not difficult at all. I can run through what you actually use this solid state for. You basically install your operating system onto it, so Windows, things like that. Or if you have any games that want to load a lot quicker, you chuck them on there. But I can do a little video on that, basically how to install on each of the separate drives, partitioning them, things like that. But let's go ahead. Pretty standard thing, you just got to make sure which way they go in. So the way my case mounts them is it goes in this way, and I want cable access from the bottom of the case, so I'll be putting them in this way. So the hard drives clip on, pretty simple. I mean, it's very flexible plastic, and they have the pins already there, so you just kind of bend it around. There you go. Oh. Bit trickier than I imagined. There you go. So those just clip in, and now you're able to insert and remove this. This bracket's actually 3.5 inch. It's the standard for hard drive bay in any ATX case. So as you see, that's really simple to install. I'll go ahead. Basically, solid states. Now they're only, I think, 2.5 inch. So it's not going to sit comfortably in there without moving around. What the silicon one comes with is a mounting bracket. You'll find this pretty standard with a lot of cases. It has 4 screws on the back here, and you can see 4 basically spots to screw it in on. So what I'm going to do is basically go ahead, screw it in on this side, and install this bracket on here so we can go ahead and mount it in my case. I'll come back to you when that's all done, and I'll show you just how to insert and exert into the case. Hey guys, so I've basically mounted the solid state. It's in its adapter position, the 2.5 inch to 3.5 inch. Go ahead and install it. You can see that I can have a close-up later, but it's got these SATA connections, the power and the actual data transfer port. Anyway, I want them for cable management to be in on the other side. I didn't mount it the other way because then I'd have all these cables up this bit, which is not good for cable management. Very simple to go ahead and do. Slide right in there. Same with the hard disk drive. Slide right in there. Toolless setup there. I mean, they're just pinched to remove. I have 4 other remaining bays. What I might actually do is remove this bay here, so I get some more airflow through the fan at the front. But that was just a quick demonstration showing you how to install the hard disks. I'll show you how to connect up all the cables and things like that. But you know, the build's coming along. We're just putting in the kind of peripherals, the things that aren't so core. I mean, we've skipped the CPU and things like that, but we'll get around to them now for you. Hey guys, here we are with the power supply, the TX850. 850 is obviously how many watts it is, quite a large amount. Watts is a hard thing to work out. I can run you through the more specifics of it a bit later on, but this is mainly installation thing, not theories, was why I bought it. Just a quick heads up, do investigate into the power supply you need. I'll link in the description below a great website which basically input all your components in the computer, and it estimates a wattage for that build, and it's pretty good, pretty accurate. If you just make sure you're above that level, then you shouldn't have any issues. Now this is from Corsair, the same people that make the case. Really quality brand, if you don't know about them already. It actually came in a nice bag that I think I'll actually keep. Really nice material like that. Anyway, I'll chuck that behind. So what I'm going to do is mount it up in here. You can see that it sits quite comfortably right at the back there. Pretty simple setup there. I'll go ahead, basically underneath the power supply you have a fan to cool it. Now on the bottom of the case you have a dust filter. Power supplies usually have the dust filter, and if it doesn't, I recommend going out and getting one. They're like little rubber mesh, just like a fly screen or a mosquito net, and it sits over this so no dust can get in. These have a 3-year warranty, I think 100,000 hours or something ridiculous like that, but you just want to prevent dust from getting in there. You can come see that all the cables are bound up quite nicely. It's obviously going to get a bit messier. Luckily the case that I do have has cable management, pre-drilled holes, so you can go ahead and poke the cables through that and organize your cables that way. 3 different types of power supplies that you run into. You have non-modular, so like this, all the cables are pre-attached. You'll find that it's actually cheaper than modular ones. Modular means that all the cables are not on it. It's basically got all the, if you understand what I'm talking about, female connection ports. So you go ahead and plug the cables you need into it. Not many people need 8 hard drives like the bays give you, but it's got that capability to go up to 8 hard drives. Modular is a bit more expensive, but it gives you really nice cable management within your system because you just plug in the ones you need. You don't have all this excess. What I'm going to do is mount it up here. So we'll just put it in there for now, slide it back. You can see that it's just a bit above the case. That's good to get that airflow. Also, it's got a few rubber grommets which help with vibration, because obviously anything attached to the inside of the case, if it's vibrating too much, it causes a lot of noise. What I'm going to do is mount that. I'm not going to go ahead and connect it. I'm going to leave these all tied up nice and neat for now. That's just purely because I'm going to get the system all in there, all the components, before I go ahead and start plugging it all in. But I'll go ahead and mount this in the computer for you, and we'll come back after that for the next piece of hardware. Hey guys, back again. You might see a lot of changes that have occurred since the last video. That's because we have gone ahead and installed our water cooling system. So far we've got the radiator, and currently this is going off to my pump, which is in there. You'll notice that this end is free right now. We're basically just sizing it up to go ahead and cool the CPU with one of these X-Spec water cooling blocks. Now before I go ahead and put the block on and measure up the piping, I'm going to go ahead and put the CPU in so we've got a fixed location to work with. You'll notice that I've done a bit of cable management. You can't really tell from this side, but I'll definitely showcase that at the end, displaying what I did and how I zip tied it all together. CPU, very important piece of equipment right here, and it will get mounted as the centerpiece in any motherboard. Now to do this, you want to clean your hands first of any oil or anything like that. You definitely don't want to get it dirty. To install it, now I won't actually go ahead and do it on video, but I will show you the process. You'll notice on any LA 1155 boards that it will have one kind of lift up pin like that, and it opens the case like so, and it'll have a kind of like a dummy CPU in there. It's made of plastic. You can go ahead and remove that. I won't right now. When you've removed it, it will basically unshield all the pins, all the gold little pins on that. I'm not sure if you can see them.
Just bring it down a bit more.
The gold pins on that. Now you're not going to ever want to touch these because they can damage really easily. Also the receiving pins on the motherboard never want to be touched, so it's a tricky situation, tricky process. which I'm going to go ahead and do, and I'll cut back to you when we've installed that. Okay, so we've installed the chip. Now to do so, it's the lever and then the hatch comes open. You remove the dummy CPU, the plastic one I was talking about earlier. Now the chip lines up a specific way. It'll have two little cuts on either side which line up perfectly, and there's also a gold arrow that you want to put in the bottom left hand corner. So over here, it's top right for me but it's bottom left for you. It lines up like that. Now then you close the case over it and lower the lever. Now the lever will put up some resistance. That's because it's basically pushing the pins into the receivers, but you just keep going and hook it round and you're in, and it's solid in there, and you're right to go. Now you can either go ahead and mount the stock, sorry about that, mount the stock cooler, which comes with any CPU. Now as you can see, it comes with thermo paste applied. It's pretty, you know, generic, not that impressive, unlike all the stuff that we've got here. I'm going to go ahead and mount this water CPU block, basically to cool the CPU. What you'll notice is this copper block applies directly to the top of the CPU, and that's how it transfers the heat. I need to go ahead and apply thermo paste. Now you'll get this with the CPU and also with this water cooling equipment. You're either going to do one of two methods. It's a small little rice grain, like say like an uncooked rice grain, or the line method where you go across and do a small little line. Some people like to apply heaps and they think it's good enough, but keep in mind that the distance between the CPU and this block is millimeters thick. It's very small at all, so any depth of gel that you put on there is going to spread very thin, and that's what you're looking for. Too much thick gel will actually cause bad heat transfer, so little is more pretty much. Anyway, well, I'll go ahead and do that. With the new quad processors, you want to do the line method because there's actually 4 kind of processors there, so that line method covers more. I'm going to go ahead and apply this block and continue with the water cooling, and you'll see us when the water cooling is actually all installed, and we can go ahead and do the graphics card and the RAM. Alright guys, we've gone ahead, put the CPU block on and arranged the piping. What will happen is the pump will pump water into the reservoir to get cold. Into the radiator to get cold. It will come out cold into the CPU where it will get hot, and then back into the reservoir to, you know, wait its turn to get pumped back into the radiator. So we're at the final 2 components of this build, the graphics card, which I'm yet to put in, and the RAM. I'm going to go ahead and do the RAM right now for you, as it is a quick component. What we've got here is some G.Skill rip jaw. You can't see the jaw bit there, but yeah. I think there's sticks of 4 gigabytes, so 8 in total. Now they're at 1600 megahertz. You can do a bit of research on this. RAM these days goes up to I think 2100 or maybe at max 2300. And there's a real kind of bell curve of power to cost. You pay for 1600. It's actually better to get like more RAM at 1600 than go the same amount of RAM. Like say if I was going to get 8 gigabytes of 2100, it'd be better and probably the same price to get 16 gigabytes of 1600, and I'd get more like bonus of doing that than going with the 2100. Do a bit of research, you'll find out, but this is primarily just installing it. It's quite simple, so I'm just going to slide it in here. You'll notice that it has a little tooth there. You want to line that up on the board so it'll go in that way. So you come around here, you line it up, which I haven't done. Okay, so that's all lined up. When you've got that, you just push equally on both sides, and the 2 little clips will teeth back into it. Pretty simple. You shouldn't have any drama with that. So I'll just do the second bit there. Just line it up basically, and apply pressure both sides. And away you go. There we go. I didn't have the clip down on the other end. Okay, sorry about that, but it's applied now. So both clips are up, and it's really secure in there. It's not gonna not going to fall out or anything like that. So that's RAM, guys. Basically we're going to go ahead and put the graphics card in right now. We'll have to remove a thumb screw and pick a slot and then chuck it in there. So we'll come back when we've got that all ready. Alright guys, you can see that we're ready to install the graphics card. You have quite a few slots here. Now what you want to be aware of is sometimes they're different speeds. They can be up to X16, so 16 times or 8 times. I just went ahead and checked for the Extreme 4, and this one here is the 16 times slot. The other ones are 8 times. If you ran these two, it would be for SLI, and that would be 8 times. Now you'll see at the back of the board you've got some thumb screws that you basically unscrew and slide a little back plate up. They look a lot like this, and they just basically go in there, but you need to remove them because the graphics cards usually come with them. Now what I've got here is the XFX Radeon 6870, quite a nice board. You can see that it's got a dual backplate, so I/O in-out backplate. That's why I had to remove 2. So let me just go ahead and put it into the slot that it's going to sit. Okay, and apply a little bit of pressure till it fits down there nicely, and you can check down here that it's all in, and that's that. I've got my trusty thumb screws here, and I'll go ahead and basically tighten these up right here. But that's pretty much it for the graphics card. The power supply goes in there. As you can see, I've got it all ready to go. So yeah, I'll go ahead and tighten this up, and we'll come back to you with one of our final stages. Alright guys, here's the final part of the series. We've obviously finished and put all the parts together. You can see the computer sitting right here on the right hand side. I've only got one screen there at the moment. I'm actually going to pick up some today. They're having a sale, so I thought I'd pick up another 1 or 2. So here it is, basically the completed build all together. I'll swing over here. You can see the liquid cooling. Sorry about that reflection in there. I'll try and fix it up, but you can see the liquid cooling running quite nicely. Everything nice and spick and span. I'll give you a quick view from the front here. You can see here is the reservoir, so I'll just cover up that light, but basically that's how much liquid's in my system. Really cool front plate there. I've got a nice big fan operating with some LEDs there as well. From the top you can see where we, sorry about the lighting, but let me just pop this open. You can see this is where, I'll swing around like this, our fans like that. That's to push air through the radiator. So yeah, they're mounted and tucked away nice and securely up here. Let me get that back on. Alright, and now let me open up this door, you might get a bit more light. And here's from the back, you can't really see much except that LED from the front. I have pretty good cable management. I spent about 20 or so minutes zip tying everything up there. Basically here's my desktop. I don't have much on there, just some games. Let's go down. I'll open up the cooling here. Let's have a look. You might find this hard. Okay, there you go. So you can see that it's running at 31 degrees, the CPU temperature, and the motherboard temperature at 20. Oh, it just clocked over to 30 degrees there. This is basically what it sticks around. Now I've installed 2 games and ran one, so I was playing one while I was installing 2 others, and it ran fine, no latency. I was getting about 120 frame rates on one of the games I play. So as you can see, pretty decent. I've never seen it go above 40 degrees, which for CPUs, you'll know that that's actually quite good. Anyway guys, here's the final stage of the build. If you have any queries or whatsoever, leave them in the comments below. I'm also going to put up the itinerary, itemized prices for each piece and where I got them. So if you are looking to get a computer like this, you can kind of gauge the cost of the build. All out, roughly, is about $1.4, so $1,400 for everything you see here running. So yeah, let me guys know, give me some feedback on what you'd like more information. If there's any part of the video that I haven't covered in depth, then just let me know and I can actually make another video just covering that for you guys. But thanks for watching. It's been pretty entertaining building this computer, and I hope you've enjoyed watching it as well. See you guys.